Hey, hey. Hello, Dal. How are you?
The music stopped.
Oh, it's all good.
I didn't know whether to come up after last time you sort of half called me out.
Oh, I know. That's right. It was spelt differently too.
That's okay.
So tell us about you guys.
So, probably to start off, how I met Dimpner, I was on the internet one night searching for property, and Camilla was actually out this night, and I was sort of looking at these videos of this woman on the lounge, and got quite interested, and turned out to be Dimpner. I know that sounds quite inappropriate. At the time, we lived in like the suburbs, so we lived in an estate. I wanted a better life for my family, so I was looking for property. I wanted our kids, when we did have kids, to be raised on the property and have like a nicer lifestyle. So I didn't want just the average lifestyle for them. I wanted them...
Because we both grew up on some land, and yeah, we wanted that for our kids as well.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah. So through looking for a property and pretty much seeing what I needed to try and achieve, we saw your advertisement. So we went to a couple of one-day events.
I understand you were reasonably sceptical.
I am going to be very honest, because I wasn't sceptical, I was dead against it. Yeah. Like, I think I made it quite uncomfortable for him to come to the first one, to be completely honest. I was like, you know, I've come from my parents who save, and they save really well, but they've worked really hard.
Yep.
And invested as in just in the bank account, watching the interest, and his parents, you know, being worth a lot but having no money to do anything, but we're worth this much with their negative gearing. And I thought, I don't want that. And he was going down this property road,
and I was going to sell him some properties, and they were going to be negatively geared.
Not going. And I saw the sand in the peg in the sand. I was like, come on, like, what is this? And he's like, I think he came to 2 or 3, and he said, can you just come? And I remember it was like the first 10 minutes, and you said, hands up, who likes paying tax? And that's why I said it before. And after that 5 minutes, and you said, well, who are the most wealthiest people? Who pays the most tax? And then I didn't hear anything you said after that, because I was like, oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. And then I was just like, cogs were turning and things were reversing, and yeah, I thought, okay. And I trusted him, and I thought, you know, he's very smart, so I'll trust him.
So probably the main reason Camilla was a bit sceptical, when we first started dating, we'd got a job and thought we won't be like...
16 and 18, by the way.
We thought we won't be like the rest of our friends. We'll get a property and just pay it off while we're working, so our pay was going towards something. Had no knowledge, no guidance, no...
Apart from negative gearing.
No idea. So we just bought a block of land near our holiday, like my family's holiday house, and just paid it off, or was paying what we could while we were working. And then a few years down the track, we ended up deciding to get rid of it, and we lost, I think it might have been $30,000 or $40,000 on it.
Really?
So when it came around this time, and I was like, I need to get on property, I want to make money. Camilla was like, I don't want to lose any more money. I said, well,
everything as a collective, I was like, no,
the
I
point
don't
of
want
it,
anything
not
to do
going
with
to happen.
Yeah,
We're married, but you do it with your money, okay?
The point of investing is to make money, not lose money. I said, we did it wrong the first time, I want to do it right now.
Well, it's kind of funny that you actually, when I drew it out, you won the program.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
So,
and that helped me. It did, because I thought, well, he hasn't had to pay for it. I'll listen now. You know, I am honest. Like, that's how I did feel. I don't feel that way now. And some people might have partners that have felt that way too. And it is hard when one of you is super keen and the other one's like, yeah, I'm not sure, for whatever reason.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we were on board and we were going to sign up, but we actually did win the real estate course.
Well done.
Which makes our story a little bit different to everybody else's. But at the end of the day, we were sort of going down that avenue, and that's sort of what we wanted.
So your original position was that you owned your home, but you got a lot of toys.
Yes, I call them toys as well, and Camilla hates when I call them toys.
Yeah.
I always had motorbikes.
So they're not
cars.
toys. What are they, Camilla?
They're not toys.
What are they?
Boys' toys.
It's an expensive hobby.
Yeah, it's dead money.
And it means, you know, like, you're going to spend that much on a boat. Can I have that much for, I don't know, whatever? No, you know?
So I always had motorbikes and cars, and when I bought the expensive boat, it topped it off.
All those
and
shiny
we were both
little pretty things.
Working full time as well. So at the time of that, I was actually at uni, but he was working full time. So I'm a science teacher. I'm working currently as a teacher at a behaviour and trauma school, and he's working full-time at a mine. So, yeah, we're doing that at the moment. And we've got a 3-year-old and a 1-year-old. So,
Woohoo.
yeah, I'm doing 4 days a week.
So we still got these toys or what?
No, so pretty much
Oh, good.
when we're at that position, we bought that house. Since that photo, we renovated, did all the gardens and landscaping. It was a new home, but hadn't been finished, so nothing was done out the back. So once I'd tidied all that up and then had cars and bikes and everything, it got to a point where I was sort of like, well, there's got to be more to life. I don't really want this life for my family. I want more. And that's sort of around the time that we.
And you had about $70,000 in equity because a lot of the money had gone into toys.
Yeah, well, around that time was.
And the cost of running them.
I know.
Every weekend with 10 other friends. Yep.
Yeah, well, just for. Just for a rough idea, that boat used to cost $200 to fill up with fuel, and you'd probably burn about 3/4 of a tank
every
in the day.
weekend.
So you could imagine how that goes down.
Now, we don't want a Barney up here, all right?
Who had to clean it?
But the boat's gone now,
Okay, it's over. It's
gone
over.
now, yeah.
and the friends have got the boat, and you go on their boat.
No, now we have kids.
Okay, so what's this?
So after doing your course, we knew we could achieve what we wanted to with your
Which was the
strategies.
acreage. It's pretty too.
And I was determined, so I knew what I wanted, I was going to get, but I just needed to figure out the how. So we started doing a bit of research on my own, and more just because I didn't want Camilla to get her hopes up and say, yeah, let's buy that. So I sort of researched and looked at a couple of properties, but wasn't too serious. It was more just testing the water and seeing what was out there, and I found our property, now that which we bought. And I said to Camilla, I swung past and looked at a property today, and she's like, what? You went without me?
It was the worst thing he could have said because my heart
She's
was
like,
already
get back
sold.
in the car, we're going for a look. So
I didn't know he was entertaining the idea yet, and I thought, oh, I've got him, let's go.
So we took her out there. I took her out there and showed her. It's in an area that's growing quite quickly, so I knew it was going up in. I wanted to buy a new PPR, but I wanted it to be making me money at the same time. So we ended up. Well, at the time, the property was listed for $640,000. So through learning some of your strategies and pointers and tips, I put in an offer for $570, and they come back and said no way. I offered with a 6-month settlement, and they said no, we want more. And they came back saying they want more. We went back and said we'll give you $580 with a 6-month settlement. And if we settle within 3 months, we can have it for $570. So at the end of the day, we quickly sold our house, put it on the market, got rid of it, and settled within a week of the 3 months and got it for $570. So we ended up getting what we wanted anyway.
Well done.
But we
well
lived with the
done.
rents for a little bit, the parents.
So to purchase the property, once we started looking at it, it ended up having, we knew at the start, but I didn't realise how much of an issue it would cause. It had power lines through the front corner of the property, not literally that much of through the block. But in doing so, the bank wouldn't lend any more than 80% LVR. So, which meant we needed more money, and at that time, my boat was still more important to me, and I would not sell my boat.
More important than me as well.
So, at the time, we borrowed money off our parents to get into the deal, to get into the property. And the broker I had at the time, I had an argument with him. I said, I am not selling the boat. We will get into it some other way.
I didn't even want to bring it up.
We got into it anyway. So at the time, as we built 2 sheds on the property and then refinanced the property, and the equity uplift we paid back the parents within, I think it might have been 6 months. Good. So
Okay.
Less,
I hate
yep.
owing people anything, so I wanted to pay
So
it
when
back
did the
as
boat
quick as I
go?
could. Well, once I got to that point, I knew I wanted to build our dream home to raise my kids in this property, but the amount of money we had, I could only build a very modest home, if not like a project home. So we pretty much decided to get into our first deal. So we built a temporary dwelling at the time and moved into the temporary dwelling.
Yep.
And then I started researching, and we found our first deal, but I knew we needed to get the maximum bang for the buck. So the first deal, we come up with the 3 strategies in one. So we purchased this old property for $505,000 in June 2015. So that's when our first property deal was.
It's very petrifying as well, being at the auction for the first time, already having something of our own, and then, we'll pay this much, and then it's just so freaky, and that first initial step was very scary.
So we sort of knew at auctions people slowly work their way up and then they get a bit vested in the auction and want to try and get the property. So I said to Camilla, we could only, I think it was $520 or something, we were going to spend maximum at the time. So I said, we'll just go in hard straight away and try and knock as many as we can out and they won't bother. So we ended up just bidding 500 straight away. They started at, I think it was 420, and we just bid straight to 500, and it knocked, I think, all of them out except for one, and someone else put 104 or something, and we just said 105.
Yeah, there was a lady that just kept going up by increments of 1,000. Like, gah!
So we ended up renovating that property. Camilla and I did a lot of it ourselves. You can see in the picture with the orange house, it had brick walls.
There was so much concrete. I'm pretty sure I've never seen any more concrete. And under the concrete, there was more concrete. Oh, it was crazy.
So at the time, we couldn't afford...
Is this the same one?
Yeah, well, I think, just go back a sec. Yeah, so at the time we spent $80,000 on the reno, but we did a lot of it ourselves. I couldn't afford to hold our property that we just bought and spend a lot of money on renovations with that. So at the time, which I still am, I normally work on average a 60-hour week at work, and then was coming home and doing that renovation as well.
So no time for the boat.
And
No.
we didn't have kids yet either, so that helped as well. But no time for the boat. And all our boat people were helping us. So they had no time for the boat either.
I see.
So we finished the renovation, put it up for rent, and then started the second half of the strategy. So it had a shed in the back there, which you can see. We knocked down the shed, built a secondary dwelling.
And the original owner actually bought the shed and took it to the Hunter Valley to their new place.
Yeah, so that's a cool
Hang
point.
on, don't you live in
It's
Perth?
a lot of effort. No,
Where do you
New
live?
South Wales.
Oh,
And
I
our-
thought you were in Perth for some
Represent-
reason.
Hour
We're
south
from
of Sydney.
here.
Oh, okay.
So
For some reason you're in Perth. I thought, well, hang on, that's a long way to take a
Yeah.
shed.
yeah,
Yeah, we appreciate it's a long day. Thanks for
we
listening.
knew the owner was attached to the property. So when we went to knock the shed down, I gave him a call, and because I knew it was going to cost me money to knock it down, I gave him a call and said, "We're going to demolish this shed. Are you interested in any of it?" He said, "I'll pay you to take it." So we said, "No worries. How much do you want?" He said, "How much do you want?" I said, "Put an offer in." And he said, $500. I said, "You can have it." So
And he did it all himself. Packed it up,
rather
took
than
it away.
us paying to pull the shed
For a
down,
3-hour
he
drive.
paid us
Crazy.
$500 for himself to do it. So it was pretty cool. So pretty much we had everything.
So you're going to subdivide this property?
We were, yeah. So we had everything approved before starting. We did the first part of the property deal. We knocked all this down, cleared the site, and then went back to the broker and said, "Righto, we're ready for the construction loan." And he said, "APRA's come in." That's when we learned all about APRA. And they said, with the new lending rates now involved, you can't get a construction loan for this property. And we were like, what? Halfway through. So we sort of got inventive and started looking at private finance, and ended up going private finance for the build.
Okay.
So during that time, we actually went to Kevin Dudney's. It was actually the super conference a few years ago, and we met Kevin. Went to Kevin Dudney's course, which helped us a lot with the subdivisions and stuff. But during that time, we met a few friends up there that actually live half an hour from home, but we met them in Brisbane.
Uh-huh.
So yeah, but if you flick through a couple of pictures, it'll show that's sort of the site once it was cleared.
Nice, decent
Yeah,
size site.
that's where the shed was.
That's the house that we built there.
Very nice.
And once we sold both houses, it was just over $250,000 profit after the massive fee
Is the
for the
boat gone
private
yet?
finance. The boat paid for this deal. So
Yes.
soon as we bought our property and went to start the first deal, I needed to come up with some money, so I sold the boat.
There you go. Okay. So 250 grand's are not a bad one. 3-in-1 strategies, which is good.
So
Yeah.
pretty much that deal would have made about another $40,000 more, but because I'd paid private finance,
Yeah.
we paid an
But
exorbitant amount in
You
interest.
did what you had to do to get it done. You made money.
And the experience.
And
That's
the
right.
experience. Yep. Good on you.
So this was our first deal, so we've achieved 3 strategies in one. So we were
Fantastic.
pretty
Gary
happy
will
with the
talk about
output.
it anyway, but the builder for this house, then, yeah, we met him and it was good from there too.
So, townhouse project.
So we used two different builders, like on the front house to the second house for the renovation and the build. But during that time, the builder that built the new house, we developed a relationship with. So much so, when we built the house, I could build the kitchen and everything cheaper. So I built the whole kitchen and everything in the house, and it saved us, I think it was about $15,000.
Yeah, he allowed us to do that, which
on
was
the
good.
build of the house. And he saw what we were trying to achieve and our long-term goal, and we started to become close friends. So he was really interested and wanted to get involved and get on board. And at the time, my cousin, he's like a brother to me, was very interested and wanted to know where we learn all these strategies we've learned, and wanted to get on board as well. So we pretty much found and purchased a block for the two of them.
He's joined the I Love Real Estate group too.
Good.
We set up a unit trust and got them both involved and purchased a vacant block of land. And as the sale was going through, we were actually catching up with a beer with one of our friends in this group. And this property, when we bought it, it was actually a developer that held the site and had approval on it for townhouses, but he couldn't afford to hold his stock. So it already had an approval on it. And then just in general conversation, mate was saying, because it's got an approval for a townhouse on it, they've had the intention to develop, so you can claim a tax credit on that for your GST.
Correct.
Which I wasn't aware of, and I don't know whether my accountant would have, but I brought it up with my accountant or solicitor, and they said, yeah, we can do that, so they put it all through. So that one catch-up and bit of a comment saved us, it's given us a $43,000 tax credit
For one beer.
for the end of the deal. So yeah, that one beer we caught up saved us $43,000.
Very good. So, how many townhouses are you putting on here?
So we put 3 on there.
Yep.
So we
You got any more pictures? Yep.
we built them for $750,000.
Yep.
So the builder was on board and our other JV partner. That's the 3 of them under construction.
You like that dark brick, don't you?
Well, it's the area. So that area.
Nothing wrong with it. I'm just noting it.
It's not my style or what I would prefer to build, but when you walk in these estates, that's what everyone's
That's what
chosen.
wants.
So I'm just pretty much building what somebody wants to
And
buy.
the
in that
builder
area.
builds down there quite a lot. So him and his wife, we just said, you guys can choose you know
do
what
it.
you're doing.
Yeah.
So, 300 grand's pretty good.
So when I was a little bit disappointed because that deal should have been a tad over 400, but then as the market's dipped and
Doesn't
pretty much
matter. You
crashed.
made money.
we
So,
have,
that's your share, or that's to be shared?
that's to be shared. But the sale was sold, but the person buying the property's got personal issues and been messing us around quite a lot. So we've sort of said to the real estate, if another offer comes in, we'll take it. But he rings once a week saying, yeah, I definitely want it, but he's got issues with his wife and a pregnancy. So we haven't pushed him. We don't want to come across too desperate or mess with his personal life.
Sure.
And Gary was really disappointed, but it is something that can happen and does happen. And it happened in between us applying for this and then coming here with now, oh no, we didn't, and this has happened. And it does happen. So
it does.
we took all the staging out. The real estate took it off.
But you've
off
got the
open
photos
homes
at least
and
from the
things like
staging.
that. So we have had to put it
Yeah.
back on, but that stuff does happen and it's a learning curve. So,
Yep, absolutely.
yeah.
So yeah, we built that in 6 months, the 3
Oh,
houses.
that's pretty good.
Yeah.
So, this is the dream house, is it?
Yes.
So once we've sort of got
Sort
that
of.
under, the townhouse is under construction, we started on our PPR. So we sort of designed it with every aspect we wanted. We had all these photos in our phone of everything we wanted for our
Years and years of Pinterest. That's all it was. Pinterest is very
pretty much the
dangerous.
dream house we wanted to raise our kids in.
Yep.
So, and I always had this vision that I wanted my house to be a big X shape.
Okay.
So because we'd teamed up with the builder and was using him on the townhouse build, he said that he would build our family home for us and build it at cost price.
Great.
So
Yep.
it worked out really, really
Otherwise
well.
we couldn't do it. It's great.
So that's a rough shape of the house. So Camilla and I actually designed the house. We gave the
that's
draftsman a massive headache designing that house because
That's what it will look like.
so that section there is what
That's our Pinterest photo right there.
the library's going to look like. But if you click the next picture,
So, where is that piece? That's the piece sticking out there in the
top
middle.
in the centre.
On the top in
Okay.
the centre, yeah.
I
So
see.
pretty much we've designed a family home, but that section of the house we've actually designed to create property in. So that library section is going to be for meeting rooms and have bookshelves down either side, and then it's got our office off either side.
And I'm a teacher, so
for
I need
property.
a whole office to myself.
So that's where that library's up to now. So it's got to have all the exposed beams and everything put in to be finished off and then painted. But it's coming along. We've been putting all the timber wainscoting all in the front part of the house. We're trying to achieve that Hampton style look.
You're saying you're going very traditional here.
We're trying to achieve that era. So it's quite an old style home. Brand new home, but old style.
Okay, so there's
That's
your
our
Pinterest
lounge room
picture,
on the left.
and then that's where you're up to on it.
Yes, that's our vision on the right and
Okay.
our actual room at the moment on the left.
So it's sort of a bit surreal because we had these pictures for years, and then now that when you see them, you pull the picture up and stand in the room, it's like
Yep, that's
It's
it.
starting to
happening.
look like
It's
that. That's it.
happening.
Yeah, that's great.
So, yeah.
It's the vision board process
It
again.
is, yeah.
It's training your RAS system.
But in doing so, because we've formed this relationship with the builder, building it at cost price, like it should be over $1 million build. We ended up building the house it's all but finished for $550,000.
Fantastic.
That
So
house
that's an
is-
uplift of $820,000.
That's exactly
It's
right.
getting
Yeah.
in the money now.
So that house is about 450 square metres. So it should be up over the $1 million mark for the finishes that are in there. But yeah, with buying in a growing area, that was a vacant block to begin with. So we've put power and water in there, driveways, sheds, and built the house. So at the moment,
You're building an estate.
that's exactly right.
Oh, I think we're building a zoo. We've got enough space. That used to be the excuse. Not
building a
enough space. Now we've got all this space.
So as soon as we bought this property, because it's 18 acres, Camilla thought she'd just fill it with animals. So it's constant debate.
They tie you down. You can't travel as much, I'm telling you.
So now they're both underway because our townhouse development's finished and it's all but gone. I've lined up the next one. So we've got 2 more sites secured. We're going to build 3 townhouses on each. So pretty much now we've got our system. We've just trying to streamline it, improve it a bit and move it along. So these sites is actually, these 2 sites are actually a lot smaller blocks, smaller dwellings in a nicer area for a higher sale price.
Okay.
So one's already
equals more money,
more money, yeah, more return, yeah. So less outlay, more return.
more profit.
So one's already DA approved. The other one, I've already got a contact that used to work in the council that it's going to get built in, and he's good friends with the general manager of the council. So when he puts a DA in, if there's any issues, he rings him and says you need to fix this, and then put it through. So even the second property should go through relatively easy.
Excellent. Very good.
Those deals at the moment are projected to make about $480,000 each.
And one's with an original.
So one's with the original JV
that we've got.
partnership. Another one is purely for a client, and he'll take 50% and we'll take 50% with no money in. So no money down on one of those for ourselves.
Well done. Well done.
Yeah.
So more important things, look at your gorgeous children.
So more important things, we've got 2 boys, Bo and Landon. They're both
They look
little,
like trouble.
They're both
They're
little
his-
terrors.
You know, I don't. Yeah,
My
you
family
don't know us,
call them both Bam Bam because they get
yeah.
into sort of
They're
everything.
feral, but lovely.
We love them to pieces, but I can't remember the last time Camilla and I got to go to the toilet alone without being hassled. And I
Normally
I remember
conference
those
about
days.
Toy Story and other things, and I want to sit on your lap, and you're like, if you knew
I
what I was doing.
I still,
Oh, you've all been there. I hope you've all been there. Otherwise, yeah.
so I still can't get used to,
Otherwise, it's just my kids.
after finishing my business, having an applause and saying, "Good job, Daddy."
Yeah. Good job, Dad. Good job. That's our 3-year-old. Yeah.
Oh dear.
So pretty much in the future, from the day one we started, we did this for lifestyle for our children. We weren't interested in trying to make a lot of money or anything like
We
that.
kind of brought the property before, and then we're like, this is what not to do. But we already did it, and our heart was in it. So
We pretty much we've achieved the goal we originally set out to do. But in going through this process, we've grown, and now that we do have kids and we do have the lifestyle to bring them up in.
And you've got a system and you've got an income stream. There's far more than probably whatever else you were earning.
Yeah, and we want to spend time with them. So now I'll still continue with those strategies to make money for the cars, the boats, the properties. And at the same time, we're going to start going down positive cash flow
Get the income
strategies.
stream.
And we've got family and friends saying, so I'm just wondering, I've got 3 credit card debts with 3 different holidays. How do you... and they're starting to be really interested, some of them. Some of them not so much, but some of them.
Good.
Like another couple was saying, you can kind of judge if they want to hear more about
Yes.
it and then just leave it. That's fine.
Yeah.
'Cause I understand I was like that, so...
So it's like you say, it's a pond, like a rock in the pond ripple effect. So since doing that, we've got friends now that want to get involved. My family want to get involved.
Good.
So Camilla and I set up
and
the
there's
company.
proof. We've got proof.
The company called Clear Skies Ahead. So we do property development and investment solutions. So at the moment, it's just for friends and family, but we will eventually start dealing with the public.
Fantastic.
But it's pretty much. I've always said to Camilla, like, there's not much point in doing what we want to do and benefit our life and our family if we can't enjoy it with anyone else. So we want to bring our friends and family along on the journey, which is pretty much why we created that company, to help them out as well.
So your final results then, you started with that's where you finished up. Well, you started with, how much did you start with?
So it's at the top of that slide. So we pretty much started out with
70K.
70,000 in equity and wanting a better life for our family. So that was in 2015. Since meeting yourself, we're...
Getting over your scepticism.
Yeah, well, and him learning how am I going to talk to her to get her on board, and he did a good job, I'm here. We're still married.
And you're up here on stage sharing your story.
Yeah.
So in the 4 years that we have been doing these studies, and in the real estate community, we've achieved $1.4 million gain in our position, pretty much. So we've generated $1.4 million in 4 years.
That's pretty good.
To think back, now to before we started, I knew what I wanted but didn't know how, to how I am now. I know what I know now, I wouldn't even hesitate to go forward.
You got a path.
Yeah.
He was like, how can I do this legally? How can I make money legally? There's all these people that have got all this money and they're doing the wrong thing. How can I do it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So pretty much, if you want something you've never had, you have to do something you've never done. So
That's exactly right. Einstein said that.
he did.
Yeah.
Well done, guys. You are an inspiration to everybody, all the young people out there with families. You did it the whole lot. So congratulations. Anything you'd like to say?
Pretty much to the people starting out, everyone's got their own talent, so you need to figure out what you have to contribute, whether you've got time, whether you've got money. Everyone's got skills and gifts, so you just need to figure out what you want to do with what you have. So there's nothing worthwhile in life doing unless you're taking risks, I believe, so you just have to manage the risks.
Don't be scared about joint venturing, because I definitely was, but there's all the legalities and everything in place if you do it properly. It's not an issue.
Absolutely.
And I believe there's no passion in life, living life small and living a life smaller than you're capable of living. So, yeah.
And also, I'm a teacher, so if none of you guys want your pens and pads, you know how we all love free stationery, us teachers. Bring them up here. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
Well done.
I need the pens.
Thank you very much, guys.